Greetings, Star Citizens, and welcome to Flight Deck. This is a weekly podcast about Star Citizen and other gamer culture topics. I'm your host, Link Static MDK, and with me, as always, is Paper Thin.
Yo.
On today's topics, we have Around the Verse, episode 47, Military Ship Sale, Reverse the Verse, episode 50, 10 for the Designers, episode 4, and Booty Call, a score to settle. So let's jump right into it. Around the Verse, episode 47. This one was 31 minutes and 22 seconds long. Sandy is back for a couple of weeks, so it was her and Ben today, or whenever they shot it. I shouldn't say today because,
Because it was a week ago?
Yeah. I stopped myself immediately. I knew I was an idiot on my own. I didn't need your help, thank you.
But I wanted to help.
Oh, I'm sure. So, they talked a little bit about Squadron 42 shoot since she'd just gotten back. And they really didn't tell us much we didn't know, except that her character has a ship and a locker.
Ooh.
So, whoop-de-fucking-do. I'm sorry. Ooh, it's a ship in a space game. Man, I couldn't have figured that one out.
It's surprising, right? And the fact that she has a locker to store her stuff is also very surprising. Yeah.
That's what the kids say, right? Cray.
That's what the kids call it these days.
All right. Anyway, the Reliant, they also mentioned, is their most successful ship sale yet. So props to Matt Sherman and David Hobbins for the Reliant. Good job, guys.
Good job.
Let's just get into Spectrum news. God. So Santa Monica, we had Travis and Eric this week. FPS characters are being wrapped up. They're unifying the character pipeline so it's globally the same, and they're preparing for multi-crew. So that's including some early concepts for stations, turret gunner user interfaces, etc. So, nothing brand new. I'm kind of sad that they're still, wrapping up characters.
Yeah, it's been taking a while. I mean, I guess it must have to do with the fact that they're still trying to implement the jukes and all that stuff. So... hurry up, please.
Yeah. Ilphonic just had David this week. I think that was because Chuck's probably too busy trying to get everything working.
Yeah.
David, you deal with this.
I think they might have hit some problems that, obviously you're going to hit problems you don't expect, but I think they might have hit some pretty big issues.
Some of the things he was mentioning was like their focus right now has been on the ground-based combat and normal gravity, so the Gold Horizon station stuff. And with that, they've got the jukes, the starts, the stops, and all that playtesting in progress. But it sounded also like they still had some animations coming in this week. So it's like, if you're just getting animations now, you're going to have to playtest those. So it's going to take even longer to come out.
Yeah, they're a little behind what I expected them to be.
Yeah.
By a little, I mean like a couple months.
Well, considering like it was, we're going to have FPS at the end of April, and now it's, middle of June. I mean...
Yeah.
It's a little behind.
A little bit.
And the network is being optimized, blah, blah, blah. He, started talking about the network. I just kind of zoned out for a bit. And I was like, they mentioned it, every single Around the Verse. Oh, we're working on network optimization. We know.
Yeah, I know.
Thanks.
Like, my eyes just kind of roll in the back of my head. I start drooling a little, and I'm like, oh, yes,
well,
network
yeah, but you do that normally, too. I mean, that's your,
That's like
it's like your version of resting bitch face. It's your resting drool face. It's
true. Yeah. Someday we're gonna get webcams for this, and I'm just gonna sit there and stare at it and start drooling while you're talking, and people are gonna be like, "It's true. He was right."
Man, if we get webcams though, you're gonna see me flipping you off.
Oh well, we'll see each other flipping each other off.
Okay.
Multiple times, I'm sure.
But it's okay.
Let's be honest.
All right. This is why we don't game with webcams activated either, especially when we're playing against each other.
We're too busy flipping each other off.
Yeah. It's like, hey, look at this, guy. Take that. How do you like them apples? Anyway.
I like them.
Austin just had Jake. Behavior is working on the Nick Stellamar Levski landing zone. They've moved from gray box to the shading and texturing. That's pretty cool. We'll probably see some more pictures then of what that looks like. The mining gameplay has been prototyped, so that's good to go, and they've sent it on to the designers to do some tweaks. And now they started on the Pioneer gameplay, which is the Explorer occupation they call Pioneers.
My question is, do you think we'll get to test out the mining and the Pioneer stuff in Arena Commander before it makes it into like the persistent universe alpha? Do you think they'll implement it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. However, I think we'll probably get it in parts.
Yeah.
Like, I
That's
don't think, like, we might not be able to fly the ship, but they might have, oh, here's an asteroid, operate the tractor beams, operate the missiles that blow it up, operate the, refinery, all that stuff.
cool. Yeah. I'd love to do that. So
I
hopefully
don't
they
know.
do
We'll see.
implement that. Yeah.
They could make it easily a competitive mode where it's like
Yeah.
two teams try and mine as much as possible before the other,
Exactly.
We'll see. They also have the universe simulator's base functionality is almost finished, which they've been saying for about a month. But you can apparently zoom in and see ships flying from one point to another, so that's cool.
Whee!
Oh, I don't know. It's hard to be excited when we don't see it. Like, it's cool to hear about stuff. It's like, hey, did you hear about blah blah blah? Oh, that sounds awesome. When can I see it?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we'll probably get previews in around the verse and all that crap pretty soon.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm in a mood today. I can tell.
you
Just
are
from
in a
how
mood today. It's
But I'm getting
okay.
through these really quick.
No,
So, maybe it's
just
a good thing.
you do what you got to do, man.
It's an exasperated mood. Just give me it. Give me the FPS now.
Just give it. I just want it so bad.
Foundry 42, they had Mike and Mike, so good team right there.
Oh,
Jokes. And then for them, they were talking about the damaging effects being added to ships that they're working on. They're also working on lightning clouds in space. And
Space.
Nebula's interiors are working on sparks, steam, smoke, etc. So a lot of the
Neat.
VFX stuff, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's VFX is one of those things where it's like you notice it when it's not there, but if it's done well, you don't notice it.
Right.
Like,
It's like
lighting, like so many other things, like
yeah,
sound.
good CGI in movies. Like you
Right.
don't even notice it. Like that's what I always consider good CGI is when I don't really notice it. I mean, obviously there are times when you have to have CGI these days. If you're like like in Interstellar. Obviously
Right.
the space stations.
No, really?
I
Holy
know
shit.
they didn't actually build a space station. I
Here's
know
the
that's
thing.
shocking.
Do you need CGI though? Because Star Wars, the original, was pre-CGI, and that looked
No,
awesome.
I totally
So,
agree. You don't really need CGI. Like I really liked the way um, Once Upon a Time in Mexico did CGI. I know that's a
mhm,
pretty old movie, but like basically like some of the gun effects and like some of the the bloods like splurting out of people and that kind of thing was all CGI. But for the most part, it was real. Like the sets were real, the explosions were real.
right.
I think Mad Max did a lot of this too. The new one. I haven't seen it, so I can't say for
Well,
sure. I've
like
just seen people talking about it.
for example, like the Arrow TV show, like he doesn't actually shoot arrows. All those are CGI arrows. But like when it's used for something like that, it's way more
Right.
practical to use a CGI arrow than to set stuff up like that. That would take way longer to set it up and all that when you can just CGI in some arrows. And
Exactly.
if everything else is real and that's the only thing fake, do you care?
No. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm with you with like doing like actual models for like starships and that kind of thing. I think those are pretty cool,
They
and they
always
look
look
really
better.
good. Yeah.
Well, like if you look at Jurassic Park, the best stuff that still looks good in Jurassic Park is the stuff they use puppets for.
Right.
The best stuff that still looks good in the Matrix movies was the stuff that was actually there. But like
Yep.
Neo flying around looks terrible. It looked
It does.
terrible when it came out.
Yeah.
I
It
mean, come
does.
on.
It really looks bad.
But like the hallway fight from the first movie where everything
Oh.
like blows apart, that's
Oh.
because it all actually blows apart.
I
That's why it
know.
looks so good.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Where were we? Oh yeah. So after all the Spectrum news, we had a couple of interesting things this week. There was the I Feel Pretty Oh So Pretty, which was submitted by Ketchup Ninja, which was essentially a ship blowing up and then the secondary explosion of the ship blowing up again. And they're like, oh wow, pretty. And
Ooh,
I
pretty
thought
again.
it would look better with ultra graphics.
Oh.
Oh, shots fired.
Shots fired. Yes. And not
Yeah,
at the ship.
not at the ship, no. Then after that, they had Meridian Transit. It's kind of this new segment I think they're doing where they're like taking all the systems. So for the first one, they had the GOS system with info about it. I feel like they're trying to do it as like an early example of what in-game Spectrum news will look like.
Yeah, it felt very in game for sure. I
Right.
agree. I don't know exactly where they're going with it, but yeah, I got the same kind of vibe.
It would be nice if it was genuinely interactable because they give us like all these buttons, but it's a YouTube video. We can't
I know.
actually click on those,
I actually tried clicking them in the YouTube video just to
just
see
in
if
case
they
they were links.
yeah, just in case they
Yeah.
were links. I did try. They were
Uh,
not,
no,
and
they
I
were
felt
not.
dumb.
It just paused your video.
It did.
uh, then after that, we had James interviewing Matt Sherman, who's one of their technical designers. You probably have seen him when they do Reverse the Verse and some of their design posts and their summits and all that stuff. He's been around for a while. He worked on the Reliant with Dave Hobbins most recently, and right now he's switching over to working on their physically based damage system, which, when it's in place, will apparently be a large scale balance update. So things like weapons, shields, power output, all of that will have to be revamped. So
Yep.
that'll be interesting.
I'm looking forward to it. I mean, because right now there's only one gun that actually gets damaged when it overheats, and I think it's either the Bulldog or the Badger. Can't remember which. One
I
of
thought
those
it.
repeaters.
I thought it was one of the. I didn't think it was a repeater. I thought it was one of the actual ballistic weapons. But if it's a repeater, I
I
haven't
can't.
noticed it damaging. I
Yeah,
mean, they overheat and shut down, but they don't actually get damaged. I haven't noticed.
yeah. There's only one gun that does, and I can't remember which
Oh.
one it was. Which is the
Well,
way in the future it's intended to be. Is if your gun
which
overheats, it should get damaged.
and that should hopefully slow down the combat too, so that
Yes,
people just don't sit there and hold down the trigger.
exactly.
Speaking of, once it has been implemented for the damage system, they'll also be able to make it more compartmentalized. So in the future, they'll be able to make updates quicker. So that's cool. And he did mention that right now damage is a little too fast. Like you can kill somebody in 1 to 2 seconds if you like aim just perfectly and so forth, which I've
Yep.
done.
And I've had done to me,
Yeah,
even by
and
the computer.
yeah, it's like all of a sudden you're head capped and you're like, what?
Yeah,
What?
like I didn't even know I was getting shot at.
Yeah. Well, and ideally, he wants to have it to be about a 15 to 20 second 1v1 fight for you to kill somebody, which I feel is about right, actually, if you
Just
think
like
about it.
count it out in my head, kind of like
Well,
envisioning a dogfight.
they're usually fairly quick. Like,
Oh God, yeah.
yeah, so 15 to 20 seconds seems pretty good to me.
I can agree with that. I think that's pretty fair.
After that, we had Ship Shape with Lisa Ohanian with their new intro made by Michael Westfall. I'm glad I did not even make any attempt to make an intro because that was so much better than anything I could do. So, props to me for not wasting my time.
Hey, good job.
Yeah. Props to that guy for having talent. So this week she talked about the Starfarer, the fuel ship, which they've mentioned previously. We've had a couple of concept sales on. One thing they like to note was the ship is actually much bigger on the inside than it appears on the outside. Like it's
Ooh.
deceptively roomy.
Ooh.
They showed some images too. We had the work in progress of the airlock chamber, which apparently one of their artists doesn't like the yellow, and I'm like, I like the yellow. I thought the yellow looked good.
I
I
thought
would
it was
like,
fine. Yeah.
yeah, I want them to keep that. They also mentioned some of the rooms that are being concepted inside there, the power plant and gravity generator rooms, which to me means if there's a gravity generator room, then the larger ships are going to have gravity generator rooms like Gold Horizon, so you can shut it off, which is pretty cool.
All right, that is really cool.
Yeah. And then they also showed some old concept images, which looked interesting, but they were all ugly as hell. So I'm glad they didn't go that route.
Yeah, I liked this. It was nice to get an update on a ship I'm kind of actually interested in keeping an eye on. I almost bought one
Yeah.
at one point, but again, I'm on my path. I'm not buying any more ships until it comes out. I swear.
Yeah. Well, it's like I was thinking if I had an Idris or something like that, then I'd get one. Because then you've got a ship that can carry some fighters, and fly around. It would need a ship that can do refueling, right?
Right.
So that would be my logic. But since like the largest ship I own is a reclaimer, I'm not gonna bother with having a fuel ship because my reclaimer's not gonna be hauling fighters or anything. So I'm not
Right.
gonna have a fleet flying around.
And if I had like more people I knew playing this game, and if I was in a bigger org like that I
Right.
knew was going to play this game, then I'd probably get it just because I think it'd be fun to play kind of this support role. But like,
Yeah.
but even that being said, like I don't think there's any organization I could possibly join where I'd be comfortable buying it for that reason. Like it could
Yeah.
be the biggest organization in this game, and it'd still be like, eh. you never know what's going to happen in the next couple years.
Yeah, that's true.
I played in like the number one Terran Republic guild on Planet Side 2 for a while, and then it like fell apart in like 6 months. Like, so I know these things can go to shit pretty fast.
Well, yeah. Well, like when I was raid leading for WoW, pretty much I found out as soon as I stopped raid leading, they stopped doing it.
Yep.
And I was like the only one that quit. I was just like, I can't do this anymore. It's taking too much time.
Yep.
I'm not having fun doing this. So, here's the info. Somebody else can take over. I'm done. And then they never did it again.
All it takes is a couple of the best leaders of a guild to leave, and that just the whole thing just falls apart.
Well, it's like everybody who kept coming regularly. Like I had a decent core group of like 18 people, and then we'd swap out between like 30 other whoever happened to be online at the time, right?
Right.
And the core group I loved playing with because they were always there. Everybody else, it was like, oh, they only show up every 3 or 4 runs. It's not really as fun to play with them. So like if they had scalable raids, I would have done that. But
yeah,
whatever.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I digress.
Yep.
Moving on. Other than that, they also had the second Meridian Transit, which happened after this. This was the Stanton system this time. And, again, wish we could click the buttons. Can't. Whatever. And then they had a Travis Day on Star Marine talking about everything going on with Star Marine, because I wonder if, they've gotten some forum posts about Star Marine, and where
Maybe.
is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
1 or 2.
Maybe
1,000.
some podcasts about it. I don't know.
Yeah. So some of the polish items that are keeping Star Marine from coming out, we've got character locomotion not finalized, start stops jukes, we talked about that already. The new instance manager is still being worked on. It's being worked on in Austin. They're trying to fix and enhance the instance managing and map making and matching, etc. So,
Yeah.
that's important. The current one, though a vast improvement over what was previous, with pressing 20 different buttons and, getting frustrated,
Oh God, I know.
is still pretty bad. So, hopefully this new one will work out.
Yeah.
The art team's also refining and polishing while they're waiting on that stuff to get finished. Right now they're working on stability focus, so with that they're going to have a phased rollout based on citizen number for the PTU, which means you'll be in it well before I am if, you want to be.
Well, I mean, so it sounded like from what I was reading on Reddit that they're going to be rolling out about 80K users at a time, and I'm number 200,000 something.
And
So
I joined about a year after you did, so
yeah, I'll be like wave 4,
and I'll probably be like wave 7 or something, or 6.
Yeah. I probably won't be in too far ahead of you.
Well, either way, I don't really care until it's on the actual non-PTU, because the PTU is going to have so many bugs and problems, it will.
And he said during this that they're going to be updating the PTU like whoa, so I'm probably just going to wait until it actually gets officially released. I'm not a big...
Well, they're doing bi-weekly patching, so that's
Yeah.
going to be constantly updating for anybody who's taking part.
Yeah, and I think he mentioned that they might even be updating more than that, so...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yep.
That's, like, my internet can handle it, but I still don't want to be doing a Star Citizen update, like, every Monday and Wednesday night.
Right.
And after that, we had the sneak peek, which looked pretty cool. It was a weapons scan while somebody was walking. I assumed it was on Nyx, but I don't actually know where it was,
I think it was Nyx.
Yeah, we'll assume it was Nyx.
Yeah.
Other than that, we have the military ship sale still going on. That's until Friday, June 12th. The Mustang Delta, Anvil Gladiator, Super Hornet, Gladius, Ghost, the Tracker. The ships are individually on sale, and the packages are also available. And normally those ships aren't always available, so if you want to pick up one of them, now's the time to do it,
Yeah, get that sexy, sexy Gladiator. I think it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, we really enjoyed that, like, when we were playing. It was definitely very powerful. I'm not sure if it's more powerful than a Super Hornet. It's hard to tell. I think it will depend on how well they balance missiles.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And we'll see what the torpedoes actually end up being like, because right now they're just basically missiles. Like
missiles that do a crap ton of damage. Right. Holy crap! Yeah, it was nice. So check out the military ship sale. Then I watched Reverse the Verse episode 50. It was an hour and 2 minutes long. Oh my god, it was long. And I gotta say, like, most of this one was not clutch. It was them just, shooting the shit back and forth, which, oh man, it was rough. So I'm sure I probably even tuned out and missed some stuff because I was just kind of, it was late at night and I'm like, just talk about the game. I don't care about that. So some highlights though is Disco Lando walks through the frame towards the end with a Nerf gun, and he goes upstairs to attack the design team. They have a separate video um, of his perspective from his Nerf gun where he attached a camera of him shooting design team members.
Nice.
Apparently, this was retribution because one of them attacked the QA team like the day before or night before or something. So.
Oh yeah, eye for an eye rules in the tech world.
Oh, especially with Nerf guns. Come
Yes.
on. Somebody made a Disco Lando Snowden joke, which I thought was quite entertaining. I wonder when he's gonna have that, like, when they're gonna stop ribbing him for the leak. Probably never.
No.
Let's see. They did mention that some of the upcoming events will have swag available there, so things like, fake tattoos, hats, clothing, mugs, whatever, whatever they can bring to the... I didn't really pay that much attention. Oh, you haven't seen those? Yeah, they got those Star Citizen tattoos that they put on people's arms and stuff.
I have not seen those.
It looks really good, actually, but, yeah. I'm glad it's fake, because as much as I love Star Citizen, if I saw somebody with a Star Citizen tattoo, I'd be like, what are you doing?
Oh, there's already hundreds of people with them, if not thousands.
And, like, I love this game as much as anybody. I love Star Wars more than most people. I still wouldn't get a Star Wars tattoo.
Yeah, me neither.
I see people with, like, Transformer tattoos, and I'm like, come on, guy. Really? Whatever.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Nope.
I'm not anti-tattoo. I think tattoos are cool. I just wouldn't get a Star Wars or a Yoda or something like that. That's just weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Anyway. Let's see. Passengers will also black out if a pilot does. That was confirmed. I think they'd mentioned that before, but somebody, like, point blank asked, if I'm a passenger and the pilot's pulling crazy G's, will I also black out? And they're like, yeah, that's the intent.
Makes sense.
The HOTAS deal is making progress, quote unquote.
Yay.
They didn't say what that progress was, but considering they hadn't heard anything for months, that sounds like they're actually maybe going to have something available in time for Christmas.
Yay.
There are 2 ships upcoming, one in the next few weeks. So even though the focus isn't currently on ship production and more towards balancing, they're still having a couple coming out. Will there be a cargo scanner for police-style ships like the Cutlass and so forth? Yes, that's the intent. I assume they'll also have a cargo scanner for pirates. I mean,
Yeah, why not?
It would be awesome to, like, scan somebody's ship and find illegal contraband and arrest them and stuff like that. Yeah.
You gotta know if it's worth your time or not, right?
Right. Yeah. There's a ship status bar page in the works. They're not sure what they're going to do with it, but it's Ben and Lisa are essentially talking about having, rather than, her just talking about one ship during ship shape, she could have, like, a progress thing on the website. This ship is, like, in this stage and so forth. But, who knows? They don't know exactly what they want to show on there, so
yeah.
We'll see.
I can understand being a little wary of that.
Yeah. Controller balance is still ongoing. Stop complaining. Like, they had a much longer thing about that, and I think Toast actually, like, was the one who chimed in the first, saying, he gave this really long thing, but it still pretty much boils down to, quit your bitching, we're working on it.
Well, right. I mean, they've talked about it how many times now, people? Like, we've had it on Around the Verse, we've had it on, ask the designers, ask the developers, whatever. Like, they're working on it. They've seen the stats. We've seen the stats because they showed us the stats. My God. They're working on it.
It wouldn't be Star Citizen without somebody complaining.
Right, exactly.
Especially about controllers.
Oh, God.
I mean, I get it. Like, the mouse is ridiculously good at aiming and shooting and stuff like that, but, like, I tried it against my joystick. The joystick's so much better at flying, though. Like,
I know.
It's a night and day difference. Like, I hate the mouse control for flight so much.
Yep.
Joystick aiming sucks. Yes, but flying, it's so much better.
Right. I just can't handle flying with the mouse. It just aggravates me. I just don't feel comfortable.
You don't have, like, the little minute like changes, they don't work well with the
Right.
mouse.
Exactly.
It's I don't know. It's hard to explain, but it just sucks.
Yep.
They're in the process of integrating the large world work. So with that, they're going to try and build a large world test environment. What is a large world? Well, so like the planets, for example, walking around Terra, that type of thing. That's a
Yeah.
large world. So that's what they're working on
Cool.
integrating. There is a thruster change upcoming, with thruster shunting being a big part of that. They want to have thrusters work more off the main engines than they typically have been.
That's good.
So,
That's
yeah.
really good.
Or they want thrust to work off the main engine. Thrusters will,
Right.
siphon away from there.
Right. I'm really happy with that change because right now you can generate way too much thrust with your
Side
maneuvering
thrusters and up
jets.
and down. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like almost as fast as normal.
Right.
For character sizes too, I know we've talked about this where couldn't you just make a really small character who's really impossible to hit? Apparently they'll have a range, so like you can change sizes, but they'll be within a set range. So you won't be able to make like a Yoda, for
Dang it.
example.
I need my odd job.
Yeah. It is cheap though.
It is
I mean
cheap.
something that small.
Well, everybody's gonna have a small character. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why you wouldn't.
I don't know, maybe because, the large characters look more badass or something. I don't know.
I guess if you're like in it for the role playing aspects, but
Right. The
I'm not.
guys like us who are in for the min maxing gameplay aspects, we're gonna have tiny characters, as tiny as we can make them.
You know it.
If the female model is smaller than the male model, we'll play the female model. We don't care.
Exactly.
Let's see. 10 for the Designers, episode 4. This was with Matt and Calix. It was 22 minutes and 13 seconds long. And this one sparked some controversy, which we'll talk about, I guess, when we get to it.
Yeah.
So question 1 was angle of impact in the damage system. Will physically based damage take into account the angle of impact? So, if it's at an angle, it'll do less damage, or if it's straight on, it does more, that type of thing. Essentially, they're exploring this, but they're not sure if they want to implement it because it will be another layer of calculation, which, they already have so much that they're calculating to begin with.
And not only would it be another layer of calculation, we're not talking like a multiplier, we're talking an exponential layer of calculation with this. Like, you have to do vectors, and that's fucking linear algebra, and fuck that shit. Like...
Dude, I passed linear algebra, and I was done. I'm not I was like, I'm not retaking it for a higher grade. I barely understood anything, and I passed, and I don't know how I passed.
I got a C, and I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. We're good here. This is over. I don't ever want to touch this shit again.
That is the highest level math class I was required to take, and that's when I stopped. I'm like, no math minor. I'm out. I'm done. This class has broken my will.
See, the funny thing is getting my physics degree, I had to learn higher level math, but I learned it all in my physics classes. Like, I didn't have to take any more math classes for whatever reason, which was great. I'm so happy about that because I could have learned all this math in my physics classes, but that's another complaint for another day.
So for my degree, it was required to get linear algebra, but like my day to day, I use algebra. Maybe I'll use trig. I'll definitely use discrete math for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But like, I don't use calculus at all. I don't use anything I learned beyond calculus either. It's I don't know. I get the value, but at the same time, if you don't ever use it, I've forgotten most of it. I would have to relearn everything just to be competent at it again.
Exactly.
It's rough. Anyway, moving on. Question 2: shielding weapon mounts. So weapon mounts available. They do want to have a specialized version. So like it'll have a shield or it'll have additional coolant, etc. And usually when they have a special edition, the trend has been they'll reduce the size that you can put in it. So like if you have a large size weapon mount, the best you could do is a medium size then. Or if you have like a size 2, it would go down to a size 1, that type of thing.
It's just like putting a gimbal on it, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
So
now, what if you gimbal that weapon? Can you put the lower weapon on it? That's my follow-up question.
So my thing is, if it's a size 3, I imagine you can shield it and gimbal it. And then, well, now if it was a size 4, you could shield it and gimbal it, and then you could put a size 1 on it, right? Because if each one lowers it by 1.
Maybe, yeah. Well, so wait, if it's a 3, you gimbal it goes down to a 2, and then you shield it, it goes down to a 1?
No, if it's a because the gimbal you always equip a weapon size lower.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, right.
it would be a 0 essentially, and I don't think they make weapon zeros. So
But
you'd
wait,
have to be a 4.
but wait, I thought if it was a size 3
You're just
mount,
messing with me now.
I
I
am,
hate you.
I am. So
I
if
hate you.
it's a size 3 mount, you put a gimbal on it,
Right. That would take it down to a size 2 weapon.
a size 2 weapon,
Right.
and then if I put a shield on that weapon, I can't actually use the size 2 weapon. I have to use a size 1 shielded weapon.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
A size 1 shielded gimbaled weapon.
Yes. Okay. So that's
Right.
what I'm assuming. I would like to know for sure.
Well, it's not actually in the game yet, so I'm sure they'll have a
Well,
design post like
that's
they
a
do
good
for
point.
everything else.
It
Yeah.
could change anyway, so.
I am flipping you off through the screen right now, by the way.
There we go. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, whatever. Ship roll modification. So, people are like, well, I have an Aurora. I want to make it an Aurora that's good at this. Or I have a Hornet. I want to make a Hornet that's good at this. I don't want to be locked into the traditional, roles that they've outlined.
Then get a different ship.
Yeah, that's kind of my attitude too. The way they put it is they will have some limited, functionality based on ship type. So, maybe you could put in a tractor beam projector, that type of thing. And they want them to be able to like bridge gaps. So like you have a worse version of the ship that's better. So like you have a worse version of a Hornet tracker, but they don't want them to be able to be a side grade of the other ship. Like
Right.
That doesn't make sense. Why would you have both ships then?
Exactly. Good.
Small ship flight model changes ahead. This is the one that sparked quote unquote drama because people are freaking retarded. I'm sorry, they're idiots. It annoys me when people like blow stuff out of proportion.
Yep.
So Calyx was like, yeah, the small ships function mostly the way we want them to at this point. Larger ships like Constellations will probably be more of that World War II feel with like dive bombers, that type of thing, Millennium Falcon-esque. And then, the capital ships will be another variant in the game type. And I'm like, yeah, that makes total sense. I'm right there with you. Best thing for everybody.
Yeah.
We're all fine here.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, all right, you go. I'm out.
I mean,
I don't want to talk about
people's complaints is that I guess they feel like that Arena Commander, if that's the way that like fighter combat is going to be, is too arcadey, and they're concerned about the current implementation of like controller decision. If you're using mouse versus joystick, et cetera, like they feel like this isn't a flight sim or a space sim, and I'm like, well, it's a very different kind of space sim, and they've been pretty straightforward about that from the beginning. It's a Newtonian based physics system, so yeah, it's gonna feel really different than any other flight sim you've ever played, or space sim, I should say, because X-Wing Alliance, Freelancer, Wing Commander, these were not Newtonian based. They were very, momentum wasn't conserved. That's the best way I can put it. You just turn and the ship turned with you, and it all just magically worked, which is cool. And I love those games, and I'd still play games like that. But this is a different kind of game. Like, get over it. This is the way things are. And if you're concerned about controller balance, they constantly talk about how they're working on it and looking at it all the time. Enough. Calm down.
No. Anger. I'm going to be irate about this for no reason because rawr.
I don't know I just don't know what to tell people. I mean, like this has been straightforward for the last couple of years what they're trying to do. Like, okay, you don't want it to be Quake in space. Well, it kind of is and it kind of isn't. I mean, it's a skill-based shooter, so it's gonna have some elements of
Whoa.
I know.
Whoa.
Let's not.
You mean crazy. I can't use my joystick in FPS combat? It's not balanced as good as the mouse.
I know. Let's. It's crazy.
Oh,
it's
man.
It's strange. But even in the space sim part of it, it's just. I understand that people are concerned that their HOTAS is, not going to be as good as a mouse and keyboard. Well, it might never be quite as good, but the statistics already show that they're pretty close for the most part, except at the very, very high end of people who play this game. And they're still going to try and balance for that. So
there's a guy who uses steering wheel.
Right,
play
there's
this
a guy
game,
who's
for
one
God's
of the best
sake.
players in this game who uses a fucking
freaking steering wheel. Yeah. I mean,
I mean,
if that doesn't tell you that controls don't really matter as much as
right.
people think they do,
Exactly. Here's
yeah,
what I'm gonna tell you. This is gonna rock your fucking world, okay?
you can use a
If you
joystick and a
think,
mouse at the same time.
well, that, but on top of that, okay, if you think that you keep getting beat by kids who are using keyboards and mouse or whatever that you're playing this game, I have a newsflash for you. You're actually just bad at this game.
Oh,
That's what it is. You're actually just bad. And I
oh,
actually admit this. I'm not very good at this game. I know I'm
yeah.
not. But I still have a damn good time playing it because I
Mm.
know I'm bad. I accept that and I don't bitch when people kill me.
You know, when I'm playing in the normal, I'm usually at least second or third, and I'm playing with a joystick.
Right. And you're better
You
than
know,
me, like hands down, like and
yeah,
that
but
yeah.
like I'm not great, and I haven't been playing that much. You
Right.
know, and, I've tried playing with the mouse. It sucks. I don't like it. I do not enjoy
I
the
had to play
mouse
with a mouse for a
experience.
long time and I couldn't handle it. I just hated it.
Yeah,
I'm better with a joystick and I'm fine with that.
yeah. I think it's a lot of people being irate and like I don't know.
Well,
I feel like
it's
there's a trend. This is me on my soapbox about society speech. I feel like there's a trend in society just to complain and be an
yeah.
irate ass
Yeah.
now, instead of just like, you know, for lack of a better term, quit your whining little crap and buckle down and, be an adult.
Right.
I mean, it is whiny crap at this point. It's not even like a legit concern. If it's something you know is getting worked on and changed, you're just whining and being a little crap face
Exactly.
douchebag. Blah blah. I'm trying to like censor myself, but still saying terrible stuff
I
like
know.
douchebag. Just imagine what I really want to say, people. Just imagine.
Right. It's so frustrating because like you said, they're addressing it. They're talking about it. They're giving us statistics. They're being open and honest about it. Like, shut up, let them do their thing. They're looking at the numbers. They know what's up just as well, as you think you do, and they're working on it.
Yeah.
So, my God, people, let's just relax and have fun with this game because guess what? It actually is fun if you relax and just play to have fun.
No. No, you're wrong. Flight deck is wrong. Unsubscribe.
Fine, go ahead, unsubscribe.
uh,
I could care less.
he really could. He could not care less. I can attest to that. Anyway, where were we?
Let's get out of. All right, we're done.
Moving on.
Off the
Volumetric
soapbox.
handling of ore and fuel. They want to have a bath-based system to affect center of mass, etc. This will affect handling. This has been talked about
this.
previously. Yep. Bigger shields on bigger ships. Yes. I mean, will you have bigger? Right now,
I know you put that because I was wondering how you were gonna roll with this because I knew this question was gonna piss you off.
you know, will bigger ships have bigger shields?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean,
I don't even
know.
want it. No, I don't know. We're done. Moving on. What is the calculator? We've heard reference to the calculator before. The calculator is a tool used for setting up ships so much faster that it takes in numbers and sets values needed. For example, number of thrusters, power plants, etc. So they used it on the Reliant, and that's why they got out with the Reliant as quick as they did.
That's cool.
Seat rolls and multi-crew. Will we be able to assign different ship systems to different seats? Will there be restrictions, etc.? Essentially, yeah. There'll be some seats that, like, if your engineering console seat will be for engineering stuff, you won't be able to put, like, your weapon systems on it, but what you highlight in your interface will be customizable on that engineering seat, so
Okay.
cool.
I'm kind of okay with that. I mean, I could see it either way.
Well, like, I assume there'll be some seats that are, like, multi-role, too. Like, if there's only two people, it does more than just one role. It does multiple. Like, you have your science and your engineering, your sensors and your comm,
Right. And
whatever.
And I'm fine with forcing people to be at certain stations. It's not like that big of a deal. Like, yeah, in theory, I could see where you can make an argument that, okay, well, any station should be able, it's just like being at a computer. You're just remoting into, your engineering, system or whatever. So it doesn't matter what computer you're at. But
personally, I want it to be more like Star Wars and less like Star Trek.
Yeah.
Because in Star Trek, you could go to like anywhere on the Enterprise and like, oh, now I've got control of the ship. Do.
Right.
Whereas Star Wars, it's like, no, this specific console does this thing.
Well, if you think about it, so now that I start thinking about it a little bit more, in modern airplanes, for example, I mean, you're not supposed to be able to access certain things from certain places on the plane. Like, even though in theory you shouldn't be able to access the computer's flight controls from your little video screen in front of you. Although supposedly there was a guy who managed to do that. But regardless, there
Jesus.
there are places on the plane where you should only be able to access certain things. Like from the cockpit, you should only be able to access certain things. From certain parts of underneath the deck of the plane, you should be able to access certain things or whatever. So I can understand it.
Yeah. Moving on.
Yep.
For going offensive for defensive approach. So can we remove our weapons and put like additional defensive capabilities on it? So this one was kind of an interesting question in that they're like, maybe, they hadn't really thought about it. They do know you can remove offensive mounts for like utility mounts like tractor beams and things like that. But like, could you remove a turret and put like a directional shield generator on it, for example? So
Huh.
that's kind of one of those things where they have to explore further.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I
I
don't
wonder
know.
if,
I don't know how I feel about that.
yeah. Do we know, are they going to have like automated like missile defense systems?
Like
Like,
point defense lasers and crap
yeah,
like that.
right. So that'd be interesting. If you just had a ship that was just nothing but like point defense weapons, you just flew around and screened for the rest of your team, that would be kind of interesting.
I don't know.
But that seems kind of cheap. That's not very skill based. Know what I mean?
Well, unless it's still skill based that you have to shoot down the missiles with the
Well, then that's
laser.
fine. Then
Yeah,
that's fine.
but I
You
would
can
just
already
rather have a
shoot down
regular
missiles.
gun and do that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can already shoot down missiles. So
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Anyway, yeah, interesting question. One of the
Yeah.
like more interesting this time.
Yeah.
Final question: mix and match armor pieces. So armor for ships are still being worked on. I wasn't sure if this question was for ships or also like personnel, moving around.
Yeah.
So it's kind of still being explored. They're like, do they want to be region specific or whole body, or do they want a mix of the two? So right now for ships, there are two types of armor. You have intrinsic hull armor, which is pretty much on every ship. It's what keeps the guts of the ship inside, and then additive armor, which would be like additional modules that you'd put on top of that armor. So
Sure.
I don't know.
Not
I
like MechWarrior.
I kind of feel like I want the additive armor to be mix and match style, but like the generic haul should just be generic haul.
I agree with you there. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me because additive armor you should be able to manipulate, in theory with like a welding system or whatever,
Yeah, and
however you
it
want
should
to
mess
handwave
with
it.
your weight too.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
like if you put too much armor on your starboard side, as opposed to your port, you got issues.
Right. Yeah, I agree with you there. I'd be totally fine with that.
Final thing we had listed was Booty Call, a score to settle. So this was done in the style of like an outlaw pirate broadcast of a dude who's an outlaw running around. One of the things mentioned was a Vandal clan at Oberon. So to me, that makes me wonder: are we going to get Vandal sightings and stuff like this through the in-game radio?
Hell yeah.
That'd be really cool. That would
That'd
be
be
a great
awesome.
way to do it. So it's like you have to be immersive and you have to listen and pay attention to find out what's going on.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that.
Another thing they talked about news-wise was Spider Clans fighting the Dace Clan versus the Fist and Nail. Apparently, like they set up one of the guns in the saved areas to attack the other clan. So that's cool.
Uh-huh.
Wonder if there are going to be hacking jobs related to that type of thing then.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Plus, if these clans are then in game and you can like work for one at the expense of the other or have a reputation, that type of thing, that would be interesting.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And the last thing that was mentioned that I wanted to highlight were the beacon bombs created by Joker Engineering. So these are beacons that set off a fake distress signal that can then blow up when a ship gets near, which sounds awesome. I
That is
totally
cool.
want to do it.
Oh, I would do this a lot.
Oh
The
man,
troll in me just screams to do this.
yeah, like there's a distress call from a constellation in an asteroid field.
Go get it.
Yeah, go help it out, guys. Boom.
Nothing bad will happen.
First thing I thought of was the crybaby from Firefly.
Yes. Yeah. Except with explosives.
Exactly. Could you imagine, like, the Alliance showing up to pick it up?
God.
Boom.
And then boom.
The giant ship carrier just has a hole in it now.
That'd be great.
Yeah. That would be the best thing ever.
Yeah.
That would have been in season 2.
Yeah. Sigh.
Well, that's it
I
for main Star Citizen news. I feel bad for Calyx because he's been addressing all the
poor bastard.
drama crap that we talked about.
Yep.
And like, at some point, you just gotta be like, all right, this is our stance. You don't like it, tough. You
Right.
know,
Yep. Exactly. Got to put your foot down and be like, all right,
like
we're not babying you anymore.
I
This is how it is.
I always love when people complain, oh, I've spent so much money on this game. I guarantee I've spent more money on this game than most people.
Yep.
You've never heard me complain. There's about, oh, I spent so much money. How dare they do this? I regret spending the money. Like, no, they're still working on it. You
Right.
know, if 2 years or a year into the game stuff sucks and this is why, then I might make that complaint. But like when the game hasn't even come out yet, shut up.
Yeah. Well, and even then, like, for example, I bought the Legendary Founders Pack for MechWarrior Online, which was like $120 US, right? And
That's like a ship in Star Citizen.
exactly. But like
Yeah,
that being said, that was like the most expensive way you could back the game at the time.
right.
I'm a huge MechWarrior fan. I couldn't wait for the game, and I played a lot of it early on, and they just kept continually making bad decision after bad decision after bad decision and ruin the game.
Well, you were like the number one streamer for a while, right? For
Yeah.
Big Warrior?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was. Yeah. I was
That's hilarious.
yeah. And
That is
like
still hilarious to me that
I
you were the
know.
number one streamer on
Well,
that.
which didn't take much, but
No.
it just took actually streaming.
Yeah, and played,
So
yeah.
you're right. But anyway, so yeah, I played a lot of the game, and even though I hated what it became and loathed the decisions and railed against them on the forums and all this other stuff, I never once said it was that because I spent the money, I deserved a better game. That's not the case. I spent the money because I wanted a Mech Warrior game. It didn't turn out to what I wanted it to be, but I played it enough that I didn't regret the decision. And
Yeah.
I guarantee
Well,
99% of the people are gonna play enough of this game that the money they spend is worth it.
I always go by the movie analogy where it's like a 2 hour movie costs $7.50 if you go on like a Saturday or a Sunday during the day, right?
Right.
So 2 hours of your time is apparently worth $7.50. How much do you average on a game? You know?
Right.
You way past that $50-$60 mark on most games for playtime. You
Exactly.
your Star Citizen, you're more than likely going to pass the $40 limit in like a week.
Right.
So yeah, you can complain all you want, but like you're paying for entertainment. You're gonna definitely get more than your money's worth. The
Right.
uh,
Exactly. I still paid for a game that I ended up not liking, but I played the crap out of it, and the developers, their time is worth that money.
yeah.
So there you go.
Well, and like how much money have we blown on League? We
Oh
don't even play
God,
League anymore.
I
You
know.
know,
Right.
I owned every champ in that game for quite a while, and that cost some money. I didn't play enough to earn them all. That would take forever.
Right.
But I owned them all. That was way more money than I'd spend on most games. But I don't regret it. I played so much League, I easily paid for that.
Yep.
So,
Oh yeah. Yep. Exactly. Right there with you.
uh, that said, there's
Anyway,
also the Steam Summer Sale coming up for people interested
yeah.
in game games. So,
Open up your wallets, boys.
yeah, was it Friday that starts? I think.
I think Friday. Yeah, that sounds right. I already
Well,
they had a sale on the Heroes of Might and Magic game, so I bought Heroes of Might and Magic 3, the remastered HD version.
nice.
And I was like, it was like 50% off. It was like $7. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I will play more than $7 worth of this game, and I already have pretty much.
Well, it's like I always pick up like the Batman games and stuff like that when they've been out for a while because I don't really care if I'm there day one for that type of game because I'm gonna
Right.
play it by myself anyway. There's nobody like if it's a game I'm playing with other people, I'll get it day one. If it's a
Right.
game I'm only gonna play by myself, I'll wait a while until the price drops. Why not?
Exactly. Yeah. I'm
So
right there with you.
I'm gonna have to check and see what's available. I just
Yeah.
don't know.
The one I'm keeping an eye on is going to definitely be GTA 5. Like, I've been kind of thinking
Yeah,
about getting it,
I
but I don't want to
yeah.
pay $60 for it because I don't know if I'm going to play it that much. I've never played any of the GTAs enough to warrant the $60 price. So that being
GTA
said,
GTA 4 I played the most. I only got halfway through the game content wise.
I didn't even get through the first city in GTA 4.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it's a time sink, and like, unless you're playing with other people, it's not as fun as other
Exactly.
games that are single player. But like, if you're playing with other people and you've got like a good crew, it's fun.
Yeah.
Like that I think it's the core gameplay of that game is to play with at least a couple other people.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. If it's a decent sale for it, I might get it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah, any other news you want to talk about?
I finished a pretty good anime recently, I guess, called Shirobako. I think I've talked about it before.
I don't remember. You probably did.
It's an
Shiro
anime.
is cat, right?
Shiro is
It's white?
White, correct.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know
so
why I thought cat.
and Bako means page, so it literally translates to white page. It's an anime about making anime. So like
You know,
that's
I
literally what it's
really
about.
I really hate the fact that I've learned some Japanese just from watching anime.
I know so much Japanese, and now I'm starting Japanese class next week. Actually,
Oh man. It's like
so bad.
I know what
Such
like
a nerd.
when you can like understand what some words mean
Oh, yeah.
without even like thinking about, oh yeah, that's white. Oh fudge.
Yeah.
Why do I
Yeah.
know that?
I know. I can understand a fair amount of anime now.
Why
'Cause
did
I
I think
watch
it was cat? What the hell's cat? That's Neko or Neku. Yeah.
Neko. Yeah.
God. Why do I know
Neko's
these
going
things?
on.
Why the
Yeah,
hell do I
man.
know these things? I need to I need to watch like Spanish soap operas so I can brush up on my Spanish.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I've
Yeah.
actually watched some anime in Spanish subtitles just to see if I could, and I mostly can. Like I know enough.
It's
between
kind
the
of like
two
a
of them.
Rosetta Stone
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. I know what you mean. Because I've done the same thing where I've seen like clips and stuff that were in Spanish, and I'm just like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, to have, got it. Oh, now I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but
Oh man.
Shirobako is, and like I said, an anime about making anime. It's very sort of meta. It goes into like kind of the minutia of what's involved in making anime, and is very elaborate and
Right.
has a huge cast and is very interesting. I thought it was
Is
actually
it a 26
really
episode one or
24. Yeah,
24? Okay.
yeah. I actually was really impressed by it. Like halfway through, I was like, yeah, this is pretty good. And towards the end, I'm like, this is really interesting and really good, and a really good story, and also gives you a very interesting perspective on a hobby of mine that I've had, for the last, since I was like 14, I've been watching anime. So
It's a half your life, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I would recommend it. It's on Crunchyroll. I don't know if it's free or if you have to be a premium member or not.
Yeah.
But it's not for everyone. It's kind of got a little bit of that cute girls doing cute things,
Oh
the moe
god.
kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
it's not very over the top about it. They're
It's
like,
not harem style crap
no,
like that.
no,
Yeah.
there's none of that. There's none of that. There's like no romance in it at all. Zero.
Thank God.
None.
I hate
Zero.
those so much.
Yeah, and
So many good animes have been ruined by harem.
Yeah, the main cast is all girls. 5 girls who like went to high school together, and then they all went and separated. When they went to college and did different things, and now they're all working in anime after college. And so it follows each of them mostly around one character, but the other 4 are there, and it's actually really really good. It's really interesting. So highly recommend if people like anime.
Yeah, I've
There
been
you go.
catching more new movies lately, but I haven't seen like the one I want to see is that spy movie with the one chick and Jason Statham, the comedian chick whose name escapes
Oh
me.
yeah, I saw previews for that.
I'm not sure. I want to see that one. I've seen a couple other new movies that have come out, but nothing really stuck with me because I can't think of the names right now. So clearly, they're whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I talked last time about I went and saw the new Mad Max movie,
Right.
which is kind of I didn't like it. It's gotten great reviews. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
to each
Love to
their own.
see it. Yeah.
I'm not gonna say don't see it. It was entertaining. I'm glad I saw it, but it's not one of those movies I would like recommend or own.
Right.
But like, if you want to see it, see it. I'm not gonna be like, oh, how dare you see that movie? It's so god off. Like, I'll do that to Geely, just because I feel bad for anybody who tries to watch Geely, because I couldn't get through the first 10 minutes of that movie. So
I will never watch it. I'll never even try.
I tried.
I'm amazed you did.
I really did. Man, it was terrible.
Yeah. Well,
I hope he doesn't ruin Batman.
right. Did you see the trailer for The Martian with Matt Damon?
Yes, I did actually.
That looks
That
really
looks good. Yeah.
looks good. Excited about that.
I don't. It looked like they had a pretty interesting cast too. Like a lot
Yeah.
of people that were fairly prominent nowadays. So we'll
Right.
see what's going on with that. I mean, it strikes me as like a combination of Castaway with like a bit of Sunshine. If you ever saw that movie.
I haven't seen Sunshine. I've been
Oh,
really meaning to.
yeah, that I highly recommend Sunshine.
I've
That's
heard
one
it's
of
really
those
good.
movies I'm surprised you haven't seen because
Yeah.
I've seen it. You know, like I
I
would
tried
expect
to
you to
watch
see it
it.
way before me.
I tried to watch it years ago on like a streaming site, on a not so legal thing, but it didn't work, so I didn't watch
What
it.
crazy? What are
I
you
know.
talking about?
I
I
would
haven't
do
heard of
that.
these things. I own
Yeah.
it on DVD actually, so
Do
I
you?
could give it. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, I would definitely borrow that and watch it.
yeah. I own it on DVD is my endorsement of
Oh,
that
that's pretty
movie.
high endorsement for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Also, I own like other bad movies on DVD too, like Your Highness. So I guess that's not a high
But that's a
endorsement.
good bad movie. Like even I
Yeah,
enjoy that movie.
yeah. Oh God.
All
Come,
right.
be gay with Father and I. No, I want to be gay all over by myself.
I need to watch that again. I haven't
That
seen it since
movie,
that like
so
one time
good.
we watched at your place.
Mm. Do you, brother? Do you see what I am seeing? You making a fool of yourself. Handle your shit, Fabius, please.
All
Oh
right.
man, I love that movie.
That's all I
Anyway,
got, man.
yeah, that's it for me too.
All right, cool.
All right, well, good deal.
Let's just end this
Let's just end
as
this.
awkwardly as possible. Let's just
Well, no, I'm gonna drag out the
hold on.
awkwardness for
Let's give
uh,
like a half second of dead air.
it's like awkward pause on all right, you ready for awkward pause?
All right. Yep.
Ready?
Yep.
Go.
Go. So are we done? Like,
No.
can we go now?
You clearly don't know how awkward pause works because you keep talking during the awkward pause.
It was awkward. I had to feel the awkwardness of
I know.
talking.
It's like until you talked, I was so awkward. I felt it. Anyway, that is it for this week's episode of the Flight Deck. We will catch you guys next week.
Peace.